and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
As wide left of the racetrack, Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Paravolca. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the Paravolca. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome to the Monster Mile. Welcome to Dover, where tonight the RFC Throwback Series takes center stage once again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome to our presentation of the RFC Throwback Series presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and our friends at Blackhawk Motorsports. Tonight, it's the Budweiser 100 from one of the toughest racetracks you're ever going to find, the Monster Mile here in Dover. Why is this track so tough? Well, this is one of the places that the track fights back. Yeah, out of all races we go to, year in and year out, you talk about racetracks that just simply cause headaches. Well, this is the kind of racetrack that will do so. And as we come into this race this weekend, we see some drivers starting to make some strides in this series. We've been able to see some of these drivers rally, so to speak, in the last few weeks. We've seen some drivers simply come from the back of the field to the front of the field, and tonight they're really going to have a testament to that as they are going to take on what is one of the toughest racetracks on the circuit. That is the Monster Mile here at Dover. When you talk about drivers that have been dominant, you talk about drivers that have been successful, well, nobody has been more successful in this season than the guy we're about to show you. That's the guy in the 55 machine that's rolling out on the grid right there for opening round of practice. That is Steve Baker. What has Steve Baker been able to do this season? Well, he's went to victory lane 4 times. That's right, 4 times in this series, including winning the season opener at Daytona and then backing it up with a win at Atlanta. He gave Dustin German the win at Darlington, and then he turned around and won at North Wilkesboro. He's by far been the dominant driver on the series so far, and when you take a look at the way he handles the race car, you will know why a lot of folks say he may be one of the best in the business at these classic race cars. As there you see him work around the Monster Mile. Beautiful racetrack. Yeah, we're talking concrete racing at its best here at Dover. As we get you set up, it's about time for fast time qualifying. It's counting down to fast time qualifying. You are watching the RFC Throwback Series right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, your home for everything e-speed.
We are back at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. And just as the field comes all around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead, and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. Oh, here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Ryan. is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 in North Wilkesboro.
Show me dirt.
Welcome back to Dover, where fast time qualifying officially underway for our RFC Throwback Series. On the racetrack there you see Joshua Spalding. Last time we were out at Charlotte, he was the big winner. Yeah, you remember him going to victory lane at the Charlotte Motor Speedway the last time we were with you. He is out on his qualifying run right now. Right now it is Steve Baker atop of the board. Right now he has a 23.99. 23.99 is what he has on the board right now. And Baker puts up his quick time. He's going to go 24.10. 24.10 next closest on the board so far. There you see Joshua Spalding in that 48 machine working around the Dover International Speedway. Classic Dover. You always got to love this place simply because it's one of the unique racetracks on any circuit. And as you see, a very beautiful outlook here at Dover Motor Speedway. Right now, another driver that's getting ready to jump out on the racetrack, Mitchell Snare. And there you see, looks like he's having some trouble. Snare is, he's doing the old Roy Hyde backwards qualifying lap. If you've seen Roy Hyde, then you know exactly what we're talking about. He loves to do the adventurous backwards qualifying lap. And right now, that's what he's doing. You may not think that this is very difficult, but it is. It's one of the most difficult things that you would see at a racetrack. And right now you see him working the back straightaway in that backward qualifying lap. Right now, only times on the board, Baker 23.99. Dustin German's got a 24.06, closest to him so far. Joshua Spalding a 24.10, and then Mitchell Snare on his backwards lap. Looks like he's going to come in at just under 1 minute. So it looks like qualifying continuing here at Dover. We're going to take a break and come back. More qualifying as we count down to green here from Dover. It's the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome back to Dover. It is the RFC Throwback Series. Getting ready to go racing here from the Monster Mile. Presented by our friends at Ohio and Indiana Roofing. And, of course, Blackhawk Motorsports. Once again, race fans, welcome to the Monster Mile, where tonight the RFC Throwback Series continues its run, the Gauntlet in 2020. There you go. You see we're at Dover this week. Pocono next week. The Pepsi Firecracker 70 from Pocono. And then, of course, next week we'll go to Pocono for the Miller High Life 60. What I get for reading ahead. Then we go to Daytona, the Pepsi Firecracker 70, and we'll wrap it up with Championship Night at Talladega on the 17th of this month. Crazy to believe we're down to our final 4 race weekends, including the Budweiser 100 here tonight. There you see this beautiful facility. Always one of my favorite places to go year in and year out. Doesn't matter what kind of racing you like. This place is always one of the most intimidating racetracks on the circuit, and a good look at what our fans are seeing here. Beautiful weather on a Tuesday evening as we get ready to go racing tonight from Dover. Steve Baker right now looks like he is going to lock up another pole position, and I say that because the time to beat right now is a 23.99. It looks like only 5 drivers are going to take on quick time so far. We might actually see somebody getting out on the racetrack here in just a brief moment. Yeah, Dave Worrells. There we go. Our very own Dave out there on the racetrack. We'll see what he's able to put up right now. As there you see on the left. As I love the shot. Yeah, check that out. Dave's went and gave us a natural look in our driver profile. There you see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. He's got the dark side Dave, number 25 machine out there making a lap. Coming off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. We'll see what Dave is able to put up. Time to beat, as I mentioned, a 23.99. He goes 26.99. Dave Worrells qualifies 5th quickest ahead of Mitchell Snare, and riding around in that number 25 Darkside Dave machine, coming right at you here at Dover in the Monster Mile. Absolutely loving the views that we got. Let's go inside of that machine. Always one of our favorite cameras. You get to go inside the race car and see exactly what the driver's seeing. There you go inside. Second lap for Dave goes 26.40, so he will pick up on lap number 2. Not good enough to take the top spot, but he does pick up some time, so we'll see how that will shake out as far as Dave goes later on this evening. And once again, welcome to Dover Racing here from the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network, giving you a good view of what the fans are getting to see here this evening. Should be a great race. Of course, the distance tonight, 100 laps, and 100 laps here at Dover can click off really quickly, so we'll pay attention to that throughout the night as these laps will wind up and wind down for sure here from Dover. Looking to see if we have any more takers heading out on the racetrack. It looks like we do not. So that may wrap it up for our fast time qualifying as Dave makes his way back onto the pit road. If that will wrap up our qualifying, we'll take one final break. That means when we come back, it's time to go racing from Dover. Tonight, it's the Budweiser 100 on your home for everything E-Speed, the Turn 3 Racing Network. You're watching the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network, presented by the Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company and Blackhawk Motorsports. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Dover, where we get ready for tonight's Budweiser 100. What an exciting weekend. It always is fun here at Dover, but it's especially as exciting when we get to go racing on the concrete. And that's what we're doing now. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup to get us going here from Dover. It is Steve Baker, once again, the man with the plan, so to speak, in this RFC Throwback Series. He's going to start on the point. To his outside in the 28, another winner on the season, Dustin German. Last time out at Charlotte, this guy went to victory lane. Joshua Spalding, he's going to roll off in the third spot. Stephen Page in the number 1. He'll fire off from the outside of row number 2. Dave Worrell in the Turn 3 Racing Network 25 machine. He's going to give us some really good in-car camera views. He'll roll off inside row 3. To his outside, Mitchell Snare in the 43. Brian Mescal Jr. in the 33 will roll off in the 7th spot. To his outside of row number 4 will be Damon Cox in the 57. Justin Walters in the 49. Mason Dixon Motorsports entry. To his outside, Eric Blunt in the number 6. Chad Meadows will roll off 11th, and just to the outside of him in row number 6, it will be the driver in the number 44 of Darrell Ricketts. Rolling off 13th, it'll be Gary Ragland in the 58 and Jeffrey Clifton in the 15. And rounding out the field in the number 7, it will be Michael Willis. There you go, starting lineup. Race fans ready to go. 125 laps here from Dover. Always exciting, always fun to see the race cars on the racetrack as we get ready to go racing here from the Monster Mile. We mentioned this place always exciting. We mentioned the excitement in the air as we are ready to go racing on a Tuesday night. 8th race of the 2020 season. A lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement through this series so far. We'll see if it continues as the field creeps off of turn 4. It'll be Steve Baker. It'll be Dustin German on the front row. Green flag flies here at Dover. Side by side, Baker and German as they dive off into turns 1 and 2. There you see Baker in the blue car just to the outside. The Davey Allison throwback. Dustin German, he's going to fall back in line coming off of turn 2. Baker will lead the charge down the back straightaway. Baker, German, Spalding, 3 winners on the season. There you see them on your screen, 1, 2, 3, coming off of turn number 4. Here they come to rake up lap number 1. Make 124 left on the board. Top 3 cruising along right now, working the middle to bottom part of this racetrack. That's where you'll see most of the action, I feel like, most of the day. As right now, you take a look back there behind him. There's Stephen Page. He's working that number 1 machine, trying to get around Mitchell Snare. Of course, Mitchell Snare, one of the good stories in the season so far. Mitchell Snare, of course, a winner at Bristol. How often is it you can say your first career win in any series comes at Bristol? So if you want to go favorites in concrete racing, then you would have to think maybe Mitchell Snare would be that guy. But right now he finds himself in the 4th spot, just inside of the top 5. Stephen Page there rounding out the top 5. And there you see Damon Cox, I call him the Iron Man of the series. He's definitely got the most starts in the RFC series by far. He's cruising right now. Had a really good run last week at Charlotte. We'll see what he can do this week, as right now he's working on the back bumper of that number 1 of Stephen Page as they roar off of turn 2. Unique thing here at Dover is this racetrack, the turns. You're down in a hole when it comes to the turns here at Dover, and you kind of come up and out of the groove. You come up out of the turns, and then you dive onto these straightaways, and the straightaways are somewhat uphill compared to what you see, say, for instance, coming out of the turns. There's a really good view of the top 3 right now. They have started to pull away. And as I mentioned, laps would tick off rather quickly. You're already seeing 5 laps coming to 6 laps complete in this one so far. As there you see your running order on your left, Steve Baker continuing to show the lead. We'll take a look inside of that number 55 car. Baker, so smooth with the wheel. That's what we've talked about all season. He drives these cars so aggressively, but he makes it look so easy. I think that's the part people kind of get frustrated about because, you know, he's all over the wheel, but he makes it look so easy. But the guy that's following him right now in that 28 machine, that's another Ford Thunderbird. He's not giving him any slack this year. I felt like if anybody has, kept Baker in tow, it's been that 28 machine of Dustin German as they cruise down the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4. Now, one thing about this place, it will wear and tear on these tires, so interesting to see as far as pit strategy goes how things will shake out as the race continues. But there you see the front three still battling 1, 2, 3, and now it looks like Dustin German, he's going to try to make a battle for the lead coming off of the back straightaway. German and Spalding, 1, 2, 3. Got to go back a good ways to find Mitchell Snare in that 4th spot. But there you see the battle for the lead currently off of turn number 4. Baker, German, Spalding. Of course, if you're keeping up with the series and you're following us week in and week out, you can see where we're going to be coming up. Pocono next week. We'll be there to visit the Tricky Triangle. Yeah, the Tricky Triangle, always one of the most interesting races, I think, of any series because of how that racetrack is. And then, of course, race 10, we'll go back to Daytona. Last time we was there, the guy that you're seeing on your screen in that blue 55, Steve Baker, was victorious. And then, of course, we'll round out the year championship racing at Talladega. We'll close out the inaugural season of the RFC Throwback Series at the biggest and baddest track on the circuit, the Talladega Superspeedway. And we hope you'll join us right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Invite your friends to check it out as well. We're watching right now the battle for second is Joshua Spalding. He's going to duck underneath of Dustin German, and he's going to take the 2nd spot. Joshua Spalding, a winner last week in the Coca-Cola 100 at Charlotte. He's jumped up into that 2nd spot as we continue to see these race cars fly around the racetrack, but they're all following the guy that they have been following most of the season. And that's him right there, Steve Baker. Dominant so far in this inaugural season, and he has led all 11, coming to 12 laps so far in this one here at Dover, continuing to show the way in that number 55 machine. Take a look at your top 10 and the way they're running right now. Of course, there's Joshua Spalding in the 48 Lowe's machine. Back behind him, Dustin German in that throwback Davey Allison Haviland car. We've seen that all season long. Absolutely love the colors. One of the unique things here in the Throwback Series is the paint schemes. Mitchell Snare and his number 43 Petty Racing machine. Love the Finding Nemo on the side of that car as well. And just into the top 10, or top 5 rather. Take a look there at, that's Brian Mescal Jr. in that 33 AC Delco machine. He has cruised into the top 5. Just behind him, this has been a battle really for the first part of this entire race. I feel like Damon Cox and Stephen Page just simply can't get away from each other. And right now they're battling on lap 13 around the Monster Mile. Hearing possibly that Gary Ragland and David Worrells might have had some trouble a few moments ago. We'll go to our Turn 3 Racing Network replay. Oh, yeah, looked like maybe Worrells got into the back bumper of Ragland and sent that 58 machine into the wall. Now, that's, well, our RFC Throwback Series officials not granting a caution, so we stay green. No caution flag flying on that one. As lap 15 goes in the books, we continue to watch this battle on the racetrack between Stephen Page and Damon Cox. The battle for the 6th and 7th spot on your screen. Mescal Jr. just ahead of them. He's jumped into the top 5. There's Chad Meadows. Oh, love that car. Take a look at the throwback 31 Wrangler machine of Chad Meadows, currently in the 8th spot. Definitely loving the throwback look on that race car. Oh, the yellow flag. Yellow flag has flown. The yellow flag is out here at Dover. Starting to slow down. We'll see exactly what might have happened. Justin Walters and Gary Ragland may have been the reason for the caution. We'll take a look. Ragland up high. You see Walters coming in there on the bottom of the screen. Ragland, gets up out of the groove and into the outside retaining wall. Yeah, and a hard contact there for that 46 machine. That is Justin Walters. Hard contact into the inside retaining wall, and that black smoke coming from that 46 machine. We'll take another look at that. If we can't go inside the race car. There you see Ragland just simply up out of the groove. Gets up there, makes contact to that outside retaining wall, and nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere to go for Justin Walters. You see that car careem off of the inside of the fence. So tough break there for Justin Walters, but the caution flag is out. Caution flag flies here at Dover. We will take a break, and we will be right back. More racing action from Dover. It's the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Mark your calendars for one of the most exciting side-by-side racing events you'll ever see. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series Visit Hampton, Virginia 175 rolls into Langley Speedway Saturday, June 23rd. Gates open at 1 p.m. Autographs at 5. And racing begins at 7. Catch Travis Pastrana, Sergio Pena, Chase Elliott, Darrell Wallace, Corey LaJoie, local favorite Brandon Godovic, and more. For ticket information, go to langley-speedway.com. The NASCAR Visit Hampton, Virginia 175. Catch more information by calling 865-RACE.
Langley Speedway, where legends are born.
The car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
Welcome back to Dover. It is the RFC Throwback Series here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We are coming to you live from Dover International Speedway. It is the Budweiser 100 here tonight from Dover, as coming off of a caution flag there just a few moments ago, Steve Baker still continuing to show the lead as Gary Ragland and Justin Walters got together on that last caution. As, of course, we mentioned, Baker so far dominating the first 19 laps of this event here from Dover. Definitely the guy that has been in charge as far as this season. I will say he has been in full command. And to give you some of those stats, 7 starts, 4 wins. All 7 of his starts, he's had top 10s, 6 top 5s. And but the interesting thing is, points-wise, he comes in with a 30-point advantage. Now, points-wise, spreading out as far as the RFC Throwback Series goes, not as many points to be had each and every week. So as far as Dustin German goes in that second spot, he's got to capitalize. And by capitalizing, what he's going to have to do, he's just simply going to have to stay in tow. He's going to have to stay close enough and hope that maybe Baker gets into some trouble here in the next few weeks. But I'm telling you what, as we mentioned earlier, the schedule coming up, Pocono, Daytona, and then, of course, Talladega to close the year. You got to hope he's going to get in trouble rather quickly, and it's just not happened. As we have 20 laps on the board, lights are out on the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car. That means we are getting ready to go racing. You see the field creeping towards turns 3 and 4. A good look from our driver spotter cam. Yeah, that is the actual view that the spotters have at Dover. You're getting to see that view right now as we see the field stack up 2 by 2. And we mentioned Dustin German there, row number 2 in that 28 Haviland machine. Just to his outside, good pit stop from Brian Mescal Jr. We'll see if that AC Delco machine can get anything done on this restart. Side by side they go. Lap 21 getting ready to go on the board. Green flag back out here at Dover. Good restart from that blue 48. That is Joshua Spalding, last week's winner. He'll work to the outside of Baker, but Baker just gets such a good run off of turn 4, and you see him dart out as they go down the back straightaway. That good run for Baker looks like it'll carry him right into turns 3 and 4 right off the bottom. You see him just hugging the bottom, about a half a car length up, and down the front straightaway they go. And Spalding a little loose off of 4, but he sucks right into the back bumper. Now Spalding's going to go to the bottom. 48 machine's going to definitely have a good run as they work off of turn 2. Can he make the pass? Yes, he does. 48 back out front, brand new leader here at Dover. Spalding takes advantage of a really good run off of turn 4, and for the first time today we have a lead change. P1 goes to 48. looking to complete lap 23 as Joshua Spalding is out front now. A little bit of a battle now for second. Here comes Dustin German. German's on the back bumper, and I tell you what, this caution might have been a benefit for that 43 machine. As you see Mitchell Snare there, he is working on the back bumper of these top two as they come out of turn number 4. Dustin German now, he gets a really good run, it looks like, off of turn 4. Will he capitalize? No, he will not. He's going to duck back in line behind Baker. Mitchell Snare right there, wondering what might have happened to Brian Mescal Jr. He was outside there of row 3. Looks like he's dropped back, and Stephen Page has jumped up into our top 5. You see him right there in the screen in that number 1 machine as Brian Mescal Jr. and Damon Cox work down the front straightaway. With the man of the hour right now seems to be that 48 machine. That is Joshua Spalding. Could he go back-to-back after winning at Charlotte a week ago? He made an impressive move as we come to 100 laps to go here at Dover. Baker now, as he normally does, you see him off of turn 4, starts to reel in our leader. One thing about it, you get out in front of Baker, you'd better be ready for him to make a rally cry, so to speak. He is one of the best at when it comes to regaining position, regaining strength. And down the back straightaway, he's already gotten it to just about a 2-car length distance. Oh, and it looks like Spalding washes up just a little going into 3. That's going to open the door for that 55 to gain even more momentum down the front straightaway. Once again, roughly about a 3-car breakaway. We saw this right before that previous caution. Top 3 have started to slowly pull away from our 4th, 5th, and 6th place. But right now, Steve Baker has reeled in Joshua Spalding and Dustin German just waiting to pounce. These 3 setting up for what could be a very exciting stretch here at Dover. But for the moment, it's Joshua Spalding showing the way here at the Monster Mile. Spalding continuing to show the lead. Get a really good look at that battle going down the back straightaway as they head into turns 3 and 4. Spalding goes straight to the bottom. And you see cars here at Dover. It's one of the things you see. You see them go straight to the bottom, but none of them get down there and really ride that line. There's not really not really a line to follow at the bottom of the racetrack. It's not like a Bristol. You know, they get down there at the bottom at Bristol and they just simply ride. It's not like that. They have about a half a car length from the bottom. I feel like you can't run all the way against the asphalt simply because you take a risk. When I say you take a risk, you very well could you touch that apron at all, and you're just simply you're along for the ride. And right now, Spalding has managed to hold that lead. It felt like that maybe Baker there was going to make a run on him, but right now you see the lap times up the left side of your screen. Baker not as quick as Spalding, which is shocking because qualifying-wise, Baker blew the rest of the field out of the water. But right now, hitting his marks in that 48 machine is Joshua Spalding, continuing to show the lead. We'll jump back further into the field. There is Justin Walters. Of course, you've seen him involved in that accident earlier with Gary Ragland. Looks like that 46 car, they've started to get that thing straightened back out. He makes the move on Damon Cox. Damon will drop back into the 8th spot as we continue to see laps wind down here from Dover. Once again, we thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Oh, and trouble! Trouble out of turn number 4. That was Damon Cox. You see there on the bottom of your screen. Not sure what might have caused that 57 to go around, but race control is in my ear saying that it's Joshua Spalding that has possibly brought out the caution flag. The leader there, you see him coming off of turn 4, coming to the front straightaway. Oh, the 48 just loops it. Hard contact for the leader. Turns that machine off of turn 4. Oh, and there in the corner, you see that Damon Cox out of turn 4 as well. He goes around. We'll take a look and see what might have happened there to Damon Cox. Looks like coming off of turn 4. Yep, it's just same scenario. I think he might have looked ahead and seen that Joshua Spalding had trouble and just simply looped it. Easy to do in these machines. We'll take a look one more time. Joshua Spalding, there he is coming off of turn 4. He's in the blue and yellow 48. Leading the race here at Dover and just simply gets a little loose and not able to control it. Tough break for the leader. The good news is these cars may be some of the toughest race cars you're going to see. And as the field heads to pit road, we will take a break with them. It is the RFC Throwback Series here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. From Dover, more racing coming up. Stay right there.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This is the Turn 3 Racing Network, your home for everything e-speed. The RFC Throwback Series, presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and Blackhawk Motorsports. Hello everyone and welcome back to Dover, where we just seen our second caution flag fly. Our leader, Joshua Spalding, involved in an incident off of turn number 4. We'll go back and take a look at what exactly happened to our leader. There you see him off of turn 4. Plenty of room, so to speak, but just simply looped it around. And there you see the hard contact that 48 car took just moments ago. Now, the good news is 48 machine is getting back in line, but unfortunately the track position that machine had acquired being out front, well, that is now faded away, and Steve Baker will retain the lead. Looks like he'll be out front with Dustin German there in second. Third place, Mitchell Snare. Fourth place, Brian Mescal Jr. And Stephen Page. I've been impressed with this number 1 tracker boat machine. He has been somewhat decent in that Monte Carlo. He's going to start inside of row number 3 in the 5th spot as we get ready to go back green here from Dover. Once again, welcome. Turn 3 Racing Network coverage of the RFC Throwback Series here on a Tuesday night. Down to our final 4 weeks, of course, the Budweiser 100 here this evening. The Miller High Life 60 next Tuesday night at Pocono. And then, of course, we'll head to Daytona. The Pepsi Firecracker 70 will close out the year with championship night from Talladega. Looking forward to taking you the rest of the way as there you see the field coming down the long, unique back straightaway. You can kind of get a look at what I was talking about earlier. The turns literally dip down. That is like one of the coolest things ever. You drive around. I got a chance to ride around here earlier in the Turn 3 Racing Network cutaway car. But you dip down in the turns here at Dover, and then when you come up, it's just like you just come over that hump. You know, if you ever kind of went really fast over a railroad track, that's what I compare it to, because you come up and out of a hole, and that's what the drivers are doing now. Green flag flies here at Dover. We're back underway in the Budweiser 100. 38 laps now in the books of the 125. Man, and Dustin German and Steve Baker rubbing a little paint as they head off into turn 1. First time we've seen them two really go at it as far as make contact, and Baker felt like maybe he kind of got pushed down on that restart. But as they work into turns 3 and 4, Dustin German creeps up there to the bumper. We'll see if he can do anything with it. He is all over the backside of Steve Baker off of turn 4. Mitchell Snare now trying to make a move. Looks like he might have got into contact there, but Dustin German definitely looks like he's a little quicker, especially on the bottom of the racetrack, that time in 1 and 2. We'll see what he can do down the back straightaway. Mitchell Snare kind of pokes his nose down to see if he can make a move on either one of our leaders right now, but still not able to do so. And off of turn 4, Steve Baker coming to the line. He's going to lead lap 38, but Dustin German may have the best charge he's had all weekend. And here comes Joshua Spalding. He was involved in that last incident. He's going to stack them up 2 by 2, but in the meantime, new leader, P1 goes to the 28, and it is Dustin German. And check out this battle for the lead. There you see the top 5, even Brian Mescal Jr. getting involved. Now the racing starting to heat up as we're just coming to lap 40. Top 5 racing as Dustin German has went out front for the first time today. The battle now for that 3rd spot, Joshua Spalding, and that is Mitchell Snare, one of the young guns here at Dover. He's going to wash up real bad out of turn 2, and that's going to allow Brian Mescal Jr. to come through, and that's going to push that 43 machine of Mitchell Snare back to the 3rd spot as we see him race here at Dover. Top 5 going at it. Here in the Budweiser 100, Joshua Spalding, he wants more. He's going to go underneath of the 55 of Steve Baker. So punt Josh Spalding being wrecked a few moments ago. We go inside of that 48. He's going for the 2nd spot. 139, 143 mile an hour, 140 at least through the center of the turn, and put that 48 machine up to P2, and he wants more. He's going to rush all the way to the back bumper of that 28 machine. The Haviland car has got a rear view mirror full of last week's leader. That is Spalding. Spalding's going to have about a nose in on the 1st spot, and he's going to go to the bottom and put the P4 or P48 back out front. The 48 machine of Joshua Spalding. What I was trying to say is the 48 back to P1. Easy for me to say, right? Baker going to slip back up into that 2nd spot. German's going to jump back into the 3rd. Impressive so far of Spalding, and as I say that, here goes Baker. Baker goes to the bottom. Maybe a little bit of contact there with him at the 48. Will Spalding squeeze him to the bottom? Yes, he does. All kinds of tight racing between the top 5 here at Dover. Mitchell Snare's going for the 3rd spot. Snare just in the door panel of that 28. This is the battle on your screen now. This is the battle for 3rd. Snare not giving an inch, and Brian Mescal Jr., he's right there to take advantage. Yeah, going to take the air off of that 28, and Mescal Jr. takes advantage of it, and take a look coming in the 6th spot. Put the 57 of Damon Cox into this battle, as we have got the top 6 cars pretty much under a blanket fighting for the top spot right now, and it's belonging to the guy on your screen. That is Joshua Spalding. You see him working out of turns 3 and 4. Coming to the front straightaway this time, that 48 machine, a winner at Charlotte last week. Right now showing the way here at Dover. These two had a really good battle last week too. If you missed that, of course, any of our races here in the RFC Throwback Series, you can go back and check out. Go to, of course, the Turn 3 Racing Network page on YouTube, and the caution flag has flown again. Caution flag is out here at Dover. Turn 3 Racing Network crew saying that Brian Mescal Jr. might have involved in an incident. We'll go back and take a look. There you see Mescal Jr. Looks like he's coming off of turn 2 and gets a little bit loose. Oh, and just into the inside retaining wall. And that looked like a hard hit for that number 33 machine. Looked like he's starting to wash up. Looks like he goes to correct it, and yeah, just simply loses it. Dustin German didn't even make contact with the 33, and man, oh man, a wild ride for Brian Mescal Jr. Let's go inside of that 33 machine. Wow. Crazy to think that just like that, the race just simply goes backwards on you. We just thought we seen that 33 machine get back up to the front, but it looks like trouble for Brian Mescal Jr., and that trouble is going to send us to a break. The Turn 3 Racing Network coverage of the RFC Throwback Series here from Dover. More racing action on the way. Welcome back to Dover, where we are here with the RFC Throwback Series. Racing at the Monster Mile, a beautiful view at this amazing facility as the pace lights are off on the Turn 3 Racing Network. iRacing pace car, there you see the field stacking back up as we get ready to go back racing in what has been an exciting race. Man, oh man, if anything is similar to what we saw just a few moments ago, the leaders, the top 5, all going at it, and we are just 50 laps into this 125-lap event that will make up this evening's feature here. Top 4 there on your screen. Joshua Spalding, our leaders. Steve Baker, second. Dustin German, Mitchell Snare, newcomer. There's the number 6 of Eric Blunt. He's going to make himself known as we get ready to see the green flag come back out, and we get back to green flag racing here at Dover. Green flag field's going to come up to speed, working, coming to you. Check out that view heading towards turn 1 here at the Monster Mile. It's going to be Joshua Spalding. He's going to retake the lead. Dustin German on the bottom. He's going to work up against Steve Baker. Baker's going to hang on by a nose. He's going to pull that 28 machine down the back straightaway, and it looks like maybe Mitchell Snare might get a run. No, looks like it's going to die out before they get to turn 3, and there you see the top 3. Now single file working the bottom. Mitchell Snare, he's not going to give up on that possible 3rd spot. He's going to work on the back bumper of that 28 machine of Dustin German. Working on the bottom here of turns 1 and 2, and now down the back straightaway. There you see single file racing here from Dover's. Mitchell Snare there on your screen in that 43, the 28 now of Dustin German, but they continue to follow the guy that has been somewhat strong even after getting involved in a, I thought was a very heavy accident in turn 1, and that is that 48 of Joshua Spalding, last week's winner. He continues to show the way right now, leading ahead of Steve Baker, lap 53, coming to 54 this time by. The RFC Throwback Series here on the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight. 15 drivers made the call so far. 4 drivers have went to the garage. The end of the night for Gary Raglands, Michael Willis, Jeffrey Clifton, and David Worrells. Their night has came to an end rather quickly here from Dover as we work lap 54. Still continuing to see that 48 of Joshua Spalding out front. Not far behind there in that 28. That is Dustin German, a winner this year at Darlington. Let's go inside of that number 28 machine. There you see Dustin German, a good look at what he sees right in front of him. The SRTV Network 55 of Steve Baker, and then, of course, out in front of him, Joshua Spalding. But a really good view of the top 3 working here at Dover. High banked, fast, and watch this. You're going to see this car come up and out of the turn. I think that's one of the coolest things is seeing these cars sink down. See, it's like you're going into a hole. And then you'll watch these cars come up, and here comes a battle for the lead, possibly. Baker now washes up to the high side. Dustin German's going to have a run, possibly going down the front straightaway. Sinks back behind at the 55 machine. That race continuing. You see the top 4 right there in one frame. That is how it's been most of the race. The top 5, say, for instance, have been somewhat together most of the race, and here we see the top 4 once again, nose to tail, and just a little bit back to Stephen Page, who's running in that 5th spot. But the battle for the lead, that is where the attention is. The 48 of Joshua Spalding, the 55 of Steve Baker, 58 laps into this 125 event as we continue to put laps down rather quickly here from Dover, and it's all been that 48 machine. We mentioned he went to victory lane at Charlotte last week. Not many times we've seen that machine on the racetrack. As a matter of fact, when you take a look at what Josh Spalding has done, he's only got 5 starts out of the 7. He's put together 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s to go with that 1 win that he picked up just last week at Charlotte as we continue to see him work around the screen. Check out where your favorite driver is running. Of course, you got Joshua Spalding, Steve Baker, your top 2. There you see Dustin German. Mitchell Snare, one of the young guns on the circuit there in that 43. You go a little bit back, you'll find Page. That's Stephen Page, and of course he just now got passed by Brian Mescal Jr. Top 10 continuing in the 7th spot. Good run for this guy. I like this guy. This is Eric Blunt in that number 6 machine. Damon Cox in the 57 Autism ride in the 8th spot. In the 9th spot, now a battle for 9th and 10th. That is Chad Meadows, and riding in the shotgun 10th spot right now, that is the 46 of Justin Waters. That is your top 10 the way they run right now. Back out front, we continue to see this battle continue with Joshua Spalding and Steve Baker. Oh, and Spalding way up the racetrack out of turn 4, and he's going to give the lead back to Baker. Not sure what exactly happened there, but man, that 48 machine washed up the track big time in 3 and 4. That gave Steve Baker and Dustin German the opportunity to come right by. Not sure exactly, maybe if the 48 might have hit the turn wrong, but simply washed him up the track. And now coming to lap 63, a new top 3, Baker, German, Spalding. We continue to put down green flag laps here at Dover, and we see that 28 starting to creep back up on the back bumper of that 55 machine. We've seen these two already go at it pretty heavily in this race so far, as there we get a good camera angle of the tunnel in the back straightaway. Out of turn 4, Baker, German, Spalding, and Mitchell Snare. I love the fact that Mitchell is just kind of hanging around. You know, these 3 guys are fast, but if they mess up, they make a mistake, he's going to be right there to pounce, and that's exactly what that 43 is doing, just simply pacing, watching. I know that Brian Snare's got to be happy at what Mitchell's been able to accomplish so far in this ride. I think he's been one of the most, I would say one of the most impressive young guns we've had on this circuit so far here in this inaugural season of the RFC Throwback Series. As there you see, Dustin German's going to make a run. He's going to go to the bottom, and he's going to go to the point. Down the back straightaway, that Haviland Texaco car. Here comes Dustin German into 3 and 4, and he is going to pull to the lead. Joshua Spalding almost put a nose to the left rear quarter panel of Baker. Baker's going to squeeze back in. Got to kind of look at that and say, man, a little bit of a gentleman's agreement there between the 48 and the 55. Don't know if he will be that kind, say, for instance, down the road, but he gave a lot of room to Steve Baker and actually cost Josh Spalding about a car length, and now he gains it back going into 3. Spalding in that blue car, Mitchell Snare in the white car right behind them, the white 43 Richard Petty Classic number. Love that throwback scheme as we continue to see that battle for the lead. Dustin German showing the way. Baker gets all kinds of close. Let's go inside. Let's check out and see exactly what Baker's seeing. It looks like Baker's going to go to the bottom and might make a run here, and he will. Baker's going to go to the bottom. We switch back and forth. There's German's view. Baker's down there on the bottom. There's what he's seeing. And you take a look up top, there they are side by side. It looks like a parade lap at 142 miles an hour as we put lap number 6 on the board. 68. Lap 68 on the board as Dustin German now gives the lead back to Steve Baker. They just keep rotating. They keep going back and forth. And Joshua Spalding says, hey, we've got to do something because we've got this young gun on my bumper that just wants to win again. And that is Mitchell Snare, and he has been close enough to bite the front 4. He's been there the entire time. Coming to lap 70 this time by. Lap 70 on the board next time by, and you start to thinking about what could possibly be pit strategy-wise. Well, there you go. Top 8 all were in 21 laps ago. So as far as pit strategy, this is the longest run that they have seen of the night. So will they start preaching tires to the crew chief? That's going to be the next big question. Will they start coming for tires? Steve Baker washes up big time down the back straightaway. It's going to open the door, and Dustin German's coming by. He's going to bring Joshua Spalding. Now Baker's going to fight back to the outside. Baker is going to pinch that 28. Oh, Baker gets up, watches near the outside retaining wall. He might have actually clipped it just a little down the front straightaway. If he didn't, it was awfully close. And that battle for the lead, here they come again, down the back straightaway, coming right at you. Absolutely love that view. Now they go down the back straightaway. They're still side by side. German just keeps enough in there, keeps enough of that car there that he can't quite make the move as they come off of turn 4. Sliding up in front of Baker. Baker does touch the outside retaining wall that time. And here comes Joshua Spaulding. He's going to slide up and try to take the second spot. No room for a mistake in the top 3. Could they go 3 wide? They are almost getting there. They're going to go down the back straightaway. Check out the battle for second. Man, oh man, 2 by 2, here they come, and the yellow flag flies again at lap 73. Man, oh man, things were starting to heat up. You want to talk about 4 drivers that are somewhat equal. They were battling it out for the top spot, and Dustin German is going to say, shoo, what happened to bring out that yellow? We'll take a look. Damon Cox there in that 57 machine going, gets into that outside retaining wall and slams it again, and just hard contact into the inside retaining wall. We'll take another look at that. See exactly what might have happened to that 57 machine there. You see him coming down the back straightaway. Good look now. Gets a little swirly, and it just may have overcorrected it. Slammed that right front fender into the outside retaining wall, and there you see the result as that 57 machine starting to limp to pit road. But man, oh man, don't go anywhere. We've seen some intense battles, and I got a feeling it's going to pick up more as we close towards the end of the Budweiser 100. From Dover, you're watching the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
You wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
You're watching the RFC Throwback Series, presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and Blackhawk Motorsports, on your home for everything e-speed, the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome everyone back to Dover, a beautiful sight here from Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. We thank you so much for spending some time with us here on a Tuesday night as we get ready to go back racing. Man, oh man, if you were just with us a few moments ago, then you saw the battle for the lead. 4 cars, 2 by 2, 142 mile an hour down the turns, and you just have to sit here and watch these drivers be like, man, who is going to make a mistake first? And so far, we have seen these drivers just simply, well, I would say the front group at least, be mistake-free. Lights are out on the Turn 3 Racing Network iRacing pace car. And as you mentioned, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Excited, glad to see each and every one of you checking out the video tonight, wherever you're watching from. As always, we appreciate you so much. Jonathan McMahon says, go Page. Let's see, Nuclear Waste. Absolutely love that. On the page, he says, woo Baker. Yeah, that's what I say, woo Baker. It has been exciting to say the least as we get ready for another exciting restart. Now, the restarts have been somewhat the peaceful side of things here the last couple of times. It's once we get things going green flag-wise, we've seen things kind of shake out, so to speak. But you notice a name that you're not seeing out front? Look at the very tail end of the field. I don't know if it was a pit road penalty, but something has happened. Steve Baker has had to go to the tail end of the field. As we take a look there, great view from our helicopter cam as we get ready to go back green flag racing. It'll be German, it'll be Spalding, Mescal Jr., and Mitchell Snare. They will stack them up 2 by 2, and it looks like the field is coming to green. Looks like the 31 of Chad Meadows is going to duck down to the bottom, and here we go, 2 by 2. We see him dive off into turns 1 and 2. Dustin German going to drop back in line into that second spot, nice and comfortable behind our leader. No, why not? He's going to go and try to lay a little bit of bumper to the 48, going to force the 48 into the turn, and that's going to allow the 28 to start to reel him in. We'll have to pay attention to the back of the field. Well, no, we won't watch the back of the field because it looks like Steve Baker's already made his way up. Oh, in trouble! Joshua Spalding once again up into the outside retaining wall. Not sure what happened again. The 48. It was the front of the race car that had trouble earlier in the race, but it looks like this time there is some heavy damage to the tail end of that 48 machine as you see him come into your camera angle there. We'll take a look and see what might have happened. Dustin German there, and oh, he just kind of slams the outside retaining wall and could not bring it back in. Yeah, we talk about all the time these RFC Throwback cars hard to drive. Let's go inside. Yeah, just see, gets loose off of 4 and is just simply chasing it. Just simply chasing that race car down the front straightaway. We'll take another look. We'll go from our chopper cam high above the racetrack here at Dover. There you go. Simply nails the outside retaining wall, and then after that, he's just chasing the race car. Tough break there for the 48. Hate to see that happen. And the leaders, so far, it has been the leaders that have struggled here at Dover. We get more green flag pit stops, which means we'll take another opportunity to take another break. More racing from Dover coming up right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Mark your calendars for one of the most exciting side-by-side racing events you'll ever see. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series Visit Hampton, Virginia 175 rolls into Langley Speedway Saturday, June 23rd. Gates open at 1 p.m. Autographs at 5. And racing begins at 7. Catch Travis Pastrana, Sergio Pena, Chase Elliott, Darrell Wallace, Corey LaJoy, local favorite Brandon Godovic, and more. For ticket information, go to langley-speedway.com. The NASCAR Visit Hampton, Virginia 175. Catch more information by calling 865-RACE.
Langley Speedway, where legends are born.
Welcome back to Dover, where we are here for the RFC Throwback Series. It is the Budweiser 100 from the Monster Mile. Thank you so much for joining us as, well, you know, the lead is normally the place you want to be, but so far that has not been the case. We've seen leaders be in trouble now multiple times. Is that good or bad for our new leader? Yeah, for the first time today, it'll be Mitchell Snare. He's going to be the leader as we get ready to go back green. 81 laps complete of our 125 that will make up the feature here this evening from Dover. If you're liking what you're seeing, well, thank you so much for joining us first off on the Turn 3 Racing Network. But, hey, we've got more racing still to come. Next Tuesday, we will be at Pocono. Get ready for the Miller High Life 60. We'll go to Daytona. Of course, we'll have the Pepsi Firecracker 70, and we will close out the inaugural RFC Throwback Series on the 24th of this month at Talladega. It's championship night. It's the 75-lapper to wrap up the RFC Throwback Series. And man, oh man, it has been a fun series. It has been an honor to bring you this series throughout the season so far. We started out at Daytona, Atlanta, Darlington, North Wilkesboro, Bristol, Talladega, Charlotte last week, and here at Dover. And it's just been a fun adventure week in and week out, of course. Hopefully I'll get to share the rest of the season with you. My wife's going to be accepting, or I should say, having our first child coming up at the end of this month, hopefully the end of this month. So if that works out well, then I'll be with you to take you through the rest of the season. If not, we'll get you taken care of here with the Turn 3 Racing Network as we stack them up 2 by 2 as they work their way down the back straightaway here at Dover. Great crowd. I was looking at that just a few moments ago. The blimp showing us high above Dover. We've started to see some of this cloud cover start to work into the region over the last little bit. So we'll see if that possibly plays any impact on what we're going to see the rest of the way. But for the most part right now, things have been pretty solid. 2 new guys out front. Yeah, we haven't seen Justin Walters or Mitchell Snare lead a lap so far today. Well, that is about to change. As you see him roar off the turn number 4, they're going to be coming into the restart zone. 82 laps in the books, coming to lap 83 of the 125 that will make up the event here from Dover. Looks like Flagman has the green flag in his hand, and we are back underway. Mitchell Snare, Justin Walters, now take a look. Oh, and Eric Blunt's going to wash up high for some reason. He just simply fell out of the top 3 rather quickly in that number 6 machine. Maybe he just wanted to see how things are going to shake out. Looks like Walters may have got into the outside retaining wall, and just like that, we start to see some of our big players come back to the front. Oh, Mitchell Snare just a little loose off of 4. That's going to put Dustin German possibly back up to the point. No, it looks like Mitchell Snare's going to hang on a little longer. Snare and German, there you see, they are just battling 2 by 2, and it's going to be German to get the better of that 43 machine down the front straightaway. And don't look now, but a guy we was talking about a few moments ago that went to the back of the field has found his way back up to the front. No surprise, right? Steve Baker back up into the runner-up spot. You may be asking what happened to the guy we were talking about moments ago. Oh, and there's a little trouble. Page is into the outside retaining wall. Oh, and Eric Blunt nowhere to go. What I was about to say was where had Joshua Spalding went, and as I said that, we've seen as it looked like him and Page were battling. This is going into turn 1 moments ago. Page comes down. Oh, it just nowhere really for Spalding to go. Be interesting to see maybe the in-car camera of the 48 of Joshua Spalding. Yeah, we'll take a look inside of that 48 machine. Yeah, it's just kind of a meet-in-the-middle kind of deal. I was kind of wondering, we'll see if we can't get another camera angle. Maybe we'll take out the blimp cam. Kind of looked like they were fighting over the same real estate going into turn 1. There you see Spalding go to the bottom. Yeah, just kind of meet in the middle. That one is really close to calling. Oh, and Eric Blunt there. Nowhere for that number 6 car to go. Simply makes contact as the leaders are back on pit road. Another caution, another opportunity to take a quick break and catch our breath. It's the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
As wide left of the racetrack, Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Paravolca. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the Paravolca. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
back at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. And just as the field comes all around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead, and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. So here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Bond. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
This is the RFC Throwback Series, presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing and Blackhawk Motorsports. Welcome back to Dover. Yeah, we are ready to go back racing 2x2, and if you've been joining us so far, it has been an exciting race. We thank the folks that are watching on the YouTube channel and around the world. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on this Tuesday night. It has been fun bringing you this series, but man, oh man, the big players are back up at the front once again as we get ready to go green. There you see Dustin German, Steve Baker on the front row getting ready. And there's a driver we haven't talked about at all tonight, the 44 of Daryl Ricketts. Absolutely love that classic paint scheme. Waiting for the flag man to give us the green flag. There you see them, 2x2 stacked up. Green flag back in the air, coming to lap 90. Lap 90 on the board. We start to get to crunch time. It's been awesome so far. We'll see if Steve Baker can get back to the front right now. Dustin German says, I think I've got things figured out. Obviously, our camera angle did not think the same thing. But there you see Dustin German dive off into turns 3 and 4. Felt like after the first quarter of this race, he has been the guy to beat. Mitchell Snare now, almost making contact there. Mitchell Snare and Brian Mescal Jr. almost coming together off of turn 4. We start to see that 33 car come to life. I feel like this is a guy that has been, I'm going to say well overdue. That's the word I've been looking for. That 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. has had some really good runs going all the way back to, think about Bristol. He had a tremendous run at Bristol and just simply watched that race slip through his fingertips. Just kind of faded away, had an accident early, and the guy that's following right now, that Mitchell Snare 43 machine, is the guy who ended up winning Bristol. But here's Mescal Jr. He's going to have a run on Steve Baker going into turns 3 and 4. We'll go to the in-car camera. Woo! All kinds of wild and crazy going into 3. Can he hold it to the bottom? Yeah, he's going to squeeze it down there. Steve Baker's going to have a great run off of 4, but Mescal Jr. is going to have the preferred line, or at least what I call the preferred line going into 1 and 2. He'll hold it down there. Oh, and he washes up, and there he goes into the inside retaining wall. Man, oh man, I thought we was going to see that 33 machine maybe do something with the battle there as we go back and take a look. Off of turn number 2, plenty of momentum, and just simply looped it around, and that 33 machine, hard contact to the inside retaining wall, and unfortunately that damage to that 33 machine may be a little bit more significant than it looked. Looked like they may be taking that 33 machine to the garage. So hard contact, may have been the radiator that got knocked out of that race car. And with that, we will take yet another break as we close in on the finish here from Dover. You're watching the RFC Throwback Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
show me dirt.
Welcome back to Dover. It is the Budweiser 100 here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You are watching the RFC Throwback Series. What a race it's been. The guy on your screen, Dustin German, then a Haviland, Davey Allison throwback paint scheme. He has been, I would say, the dominant driver this afternoon once he was able to get out front. The guy that's right there behind him, he's been the dominant driver all year. And take a look who's going to be restarting in the third spot. Get the old band back together, so to speak. If you were watching just about 15 laps ago, these three drivers were putting on an absolute show. And, yeah, why don't we just throw Mitchell Snare in there, too? So the band back together. These will be the top four cars when we get ready to go back racing here in just a few moments. There you see 96 of our 125 laps are now complete. We've stringed together a few cautions here in the last little bit, and I think that that has kind of amped up the energy, so to speak, especially as we start to, I like to say, close in on the end of this one here from Dover. Don't go anywhere after the race. We'll have our post-race coverage. We'll get you caught up and interview the top three drivers following tonight's event. And, of course, that will set the stage when we head to Pocono next week, the Tricky Triangle, right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. But there you see Dustin German. He's going to restart as our leader. 57 out in front of him, Damon Cox. He is going to take that lucky dog, which will get him looped around. Dustin German come into this event 30 points out of the top spot. Crazy to believe. 30 points out of the top spot, and he's had such a good year. 4 top 5s out of the 7 races. But when the guy that you are chasing has 6 top 5s of the 7 starts, it kind of tells the difference. But coming in 30 points out of the top spot, 45 points back to Eric Blunt, who, by the way, we saw him just a few moments ago restarting there in the top 6 and decided to pull away from what was about to get wild and crazy. And we may very well see that again here in the next couple of moments as we go high above. Absolutely love the view that we're getting from our blimp cam high above the Dover International Speedway. One of the most beautiful facilities you're going to see ever. I love the concrete. Absolutely love the view. And take a look at this. Can't keep up with these cars in full speed, but we've got our drone out there getting us as close as we possibly can. We give you all the best views you could possibly think of here at the Turn 3 Racing Network, and I'm seeing some folks on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you so much for joining us. Derek Robinson, great racing, great commentating. You're too kind, Derek. Thank you for those kind words. When we get ready to go back racing here from Dover, there you see the entire field, stacked them up 2 by 2, coming back to the restart. Top 4 drivers of the entire event right there in front of you, those 4 cars, and we're back green. Green flag in the air. Steve Baker gets a really good run. Now Dustin German not going to give an inch. He's going to take the bottom, and look at the run that 28 machine gets off of turn 2. Just been impressed with what he has been able to do on restarts. He just simply leaves the field. Mitchell Snare now makes a power move. He's going to jump up into the 3rd spot, and as I said, just as advertised, I'm glad they don't make a liar out of me. The top 4 go straight to work. Top 4, flying by. Absolutely love the view. Love the sound that these throwback cars make, too. And here comes Steve Baker right on the back bumper of that 28. Nowhere to go, so he's going to stay in line. And this time, coming to lap 100, 25 circuits left here from Dover for a chance to go away with a win. Dustin German, Steve Baker going down the back straightaway. Mitchell Snare in tow. Joshua Spalding just close enough to capitalize if anything happens here in the top 3. But, man, there is absolutely nowhere to go as we take a look and go on board of that number 43 of Mitchell Snare. Here's his view as he's got the top 2 in front of him battling for the lead. Oh, wait, something's going on there with the Dustin German machine. I'm seeing all kinds of smoke out front. Don't know if that 28 car is having some trouble. Possibly some connection trouble there just a few moments ago for the 28. That would be a heartbreak to see this race fade away because of those issues, but it looks like things may have sorted themselves out. 24 laps to go, and a little bit of a bobble there as German got caught down on that apron. I talked to you about running the bottom. Yeah, this is one of the tracks where you don't want to go all the way to the bottom surface. If you watch the NASCAR Cup Series, you see Kevin Harvick. I call it the Atlanta line. You just simply get all the way down there, and that's just where you stay. You get down here, there's such a change as far as the concrete to the asphalt. You lose so much momentum. Oh, and there we go again. Trouble for Dustin German. Not sure exactly what's going on in that 28 machine, but definitely some trouble with 23 laps to go. Out of turn 4, the 28 of Dustin German. Steve Baker second. You know, if you're Dustin German and you're wanting to gain points on Steve Baker, you want somebody else in the rear view. You want somebody else to be the guy you're chasing as we come to 21 to go. It's been these two. Can Mitchell Snare make a late charge to possibly make something happen? I feel like he's got a good enough car to run with these guys, but I don't know that he has the I don't feel like he has the horsepower to get up there and make the pass. We'll see, though, as we continue to see laps go away. We are clicking down. We're coming to only 20 laps to go, 20 to go. Here from Dover, there you see the top 4 under a blanket. Top 3 pretty much nose to tail. There they are on your screen as Steve Baker, our points leader, chasing down second place in points, Dustin German, as we continue to see laps click away. 8 drivers left on the racetrack of the 15 that got things started here from Dover this evening. And right here, this has been the battle for the most part for the lead. I feel like Dustin German, for the most part, has had the better car here in this later stages. Just not really able to get away. He hasn't been able to really make him. Oh, and a little bit of a bobble there off of 2. That's going to open the door possibly for Baker to go to the bottom, and he will. Steve Baker's going to pull it side by side coming out of turn 4. Battle for the lead out of turn 4. There is a great view. Baker's going to have a really good run, but not enough to get away. And here goes the battle into 4. We start to stack them up side by side again. Mitchell Snare and Spalding make contact. Snare starting to spin around. He's going to be loose out of 2. And man, oh man, what a save for Mitchell Snare. But once again, we'll see the caution flag come out. Caution flag flies as Mitchell Snare gets sideways in the middle of 1 and 2. We'll take another look. There you see him on your screen. Just kind of came down, and I don't know if the spotter didn't make it aware that Joshua Spalding was there or not. We'll take another look at it from his different camera angle. There you see Snare. I think he got a little loose, and when he turned down, there was nowhere to go, and Spalding just simply tapped that left rear quarter panel, and around goes the 43. So another caution leads us to another break and another round of pit stops possibly, but don't go anywhere. We'll have the conclusion of the finale here at Dover. More racing from Dover on the Turn 3 Racing Network when we return.
You got him 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Mark your calendars for one of the most exciting side-by-side racing events you'll ever see. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series Visit Hampton, Virginia 175 rolls into Langley Speedway Saturday, June 23rd. Gates open at 1 p.m. Autographs at 5. And racing begins at 7. Catch Travis Pastrana, Sergio Pena, Chase Elliott, Darrell Wallace, Corey LaJoie, local favorite Brandon Godovic, and more. For ticket information, go to langley-speedway.com. The NASCAR Visit Hampton, Virginia 175. Catch more information by calling 865-RACE.
Langley Speedway, where legends are born.
You're watching the RFC Throwback Series right here on your home for everything E-Speed, the Turn 3 Racing Network. The RFC Throwback Series is brought to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company, Blackhawk Motorsports. Welcome, everyone, back to Dover as we get ready to wrap things up in what has been, I will gladly say, one of the most exciting races I think we have seen all year. If you've joined us so far in this series, we have been able to see some amazing races. We've seen some exciting finishes, and I feel like we're shaping up for that once again. Dustin German, Steve Baker going to restart on the front row. Here's a little bit of a change. Take a look at row number 2. Absolutely loving the 31 Wrangler Throwback of Chad Meadows. Love that race car. To his outside, Justin Walters. And then you're going to find Joshua Spalding and Darrell Ricketts. Mitchell Snare is going to restart back there in the 7th spot. And it looks like just now coming off of pit road, looks like Damon Cox. Man, that car has seen a tough night. That's a Dover race car. Just totally battle scars all over that 57. We see him get back up to speed, and of course the lights are still on the Ford Mustang iRacing pace car. We mentioned earlier, join us next week. We're going to be right back at it again. That's right. Join us next week when we bring more racing action to you. Next week, we do so from the Tricky Triangle. That's right. Next week, you'll join us as we take on the Tricky Triangle in the Miller High Life 60. And then we'll follow that up at Daytona with the Pepsi Firecracker 70. And then at Talladega, championship night. We get ready to crown champions here in the RFC Throwback Series as we get ready to go back racing. Lights are now out on that iRacing Ford Mustang pace car. That you see it, 14 laps to go. That's going to click off very quickly. If we can get some green flag racing, these 14 laps will go by in a hurry. Love this angle right here. You get to see these classic cars come at you the entire field. If you like what you're seeing, you definitely got to check out Racing for a Cause on Facebook. If you like the racing action you've seen tonight, all kinds of great series. And, of course, you can find RFC Racing on Facebook, too. So, excited to see what these next 14 laps bring. Excited to see how things will shake out. John McMahon says, let's go number 1. Cheering on Stephen Page to see if possibly he can get that number 1 car back up to the front. Haven't seen much of Stephen lately here in the last few laps. Hopefully that'll change. As there you see, the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car is off onto the pit road. 2 by 2, we stack them up. Dustin German right there in the white Texaco Haviland car. Steve Baker in the blue and red 55. Front 2 in the points are going to get us back going as we have 13 circuits left when they cross the line. Great restart from the top 2, and you see Baker just simply dive in line. Dustin German gets such a good restart. You just simply have to see what Steve Baker is just trying to accomplish by staying in line. Oh, and a little bit of a bump in the bumper. Bump into the tail. Baker thought he could make a run on the bottom. Not enough. German's going to shut the door. Looked like Steve Baker might have laid the bumper into Dustin German going down the back straightaway, but it didn't shake him up enough. By about 3 car lengths now, that 28 machine's going to have the lead, rolling off of turn 2. Down the back straightaway they go, getting a really good look at it. Now, Baker's going to reel him back in. We'll see if he can do anything as they roar through 3 and 4. I feel like Baker has the better car in 3 and 4. Dustin German much better in 1 and 2. Can Steve Baker regain the momentum to maybe make another run at him? Right now, it's about a 3 car length lead as they go down the back straightaway as we jump inside of that 55 machine. Just takes so much to wheel these race cars around this racetrack. This is one of the tracks that when you come here, it's not about racing the opponents. Most of the time you race the other drivers, but you're fighting the track. And that's exactly what they're doing in these heavy, heavy throwback Ford Thunderbirds and Monte Carlos. They are a handful as they battle around this racetrack here at Dover. As you are riding along with our points leader, Steve Baker, he's trying to run down Dustin German here in the closing laps, but he's losing time as we make each circuit. 9 laps left here at Dover. German a little loose there in 1 and 2. You see a wiggle from that 28 machine. That's not going to help his cause at all as they battle down the back straightaway. Those two battling off of turn 4. Steve Baker's going to really close the gap now. Baker is right there diving into turns 1 and 2. Oh, and caution. Caution flag is out. It looks like Joshua Spalding once again. The 48 machine. Saw it out of the corner of my eye. We'll go to the Turn 3 Racing Network replay. Spalding there in the 48 car just simply loses it right in front of Mitchell Snare, and Mitchell Snare does make contact and just simply finishes the 48 off. Nowhere for Mitchell Snare really to go as we take another look at that. There you see that 48 machine loose and just simply nowhere to go. Mitchell Snare, yeah, nowhere to go for that 43 machine. Could have probably laid on the brakes, but still don't think it would have changed anything. As there you see the yellow flag flying here at Dover. It's coming with 7 laps to go. So, yeah, that's going to make it even more interesting. I got a feeling we are not going to see our leaders go to pit road. Will we see them give up that track position? We do, surprisingly enough. Here comes Dustin German. Here comes Steve Baker, Mitchell Snare, all these drivers coming to get fresh tires. So interesting move there to see the leaders come to pit road. I kind of thought we would see these folks kind of gamble a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. This possibly could open it up for somebody in the back to maybe make a charge, but right now it looks like our leaders are going to stay on pit road, and for the most part, it looks like everybody is going to come onto pit road as we have the caution flag out. Going to leave us with roughly about 5 laps left, not inside of that green-white checker. Now, if you've been watching, this series does have one green flag, one green-white checker, so to speak, and it looks like German is going to beat Baker off of pit road. Man, that was close. Great pit stop by that 28 crew. It's going to get that 28 back out front. But, yeah, one green-white checkered attempt, and it looks like roughly we're going to go back green with well, about 4 laps to go is what it looks like it's going to shake out to be. It's going to be about 4 laps to go. And there you see that 28 car. Dustin German last in victory lane at Darlington in the Trans-South 110. 3rd race of the year. This would be a good chance for him to gain some points, but unfortunately, not going to gain a whole lot because the guy that's leading the points is right there to his outside. Good to see that 31 of Chad Meadows up there having a really good run this week. When you take a look at a lot of the young guns on the circuit, this is only his 3rd start here in the RFC Throwback Series. So right now, sitting inside of the top 5. That's another good run for him. Another good run for the young gun of Mitchell Snare. Of course, we talked about him, a winner at Bristol. Daryl Ricketts in that 44 car, the 46 of Justin Walters. Of course, we've already seen some cars exit the race, and there you go. There's that list. Brian Maskell Jr., Stephen Page now out of the race, unfortunately. Eric Blunt, Gary Ragland, Michael Willis, Jeffrey Clifton, and David Worrells have all called it a night here from Dover. So we get ready to go back race, and Dustin German, Steve Baker, that has been where all the attention has been. And as we get ready to close it up from Dover here in the Budweiser 100, that is where the attention will be again. Lights are expected to go out on the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car this time. And we will see if anybody has anything for these two. Could Mitchell Snare maybe get in there and spoil it? He's been right there most of the race, just not able to capitalize on the mistakes. Steve Baker's not been able to get a good enough restart to take the lead. Yeah, I feel like the last 2 times we've seen restarts, Dustin German has took Steve Baker to school pretty much on these restarts. We'll see if he can do it again here. For all the folks watching at home, we do thank you for joining us. As always, love seeing you folks on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Love seeing the comments. Love seeing all the stuff that you all are posting each and every time we fire up one of these broadcasts. And, of course, as I always say, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank to our troops. We got any military veterans out there watching? I know we're closing in on Veterans Day. We thank you for everything you do. And hopefully we are going to send you off here this evening with something exciting and something great to finish out the racing here at Dover. As there you see the field coming through turns 3 and 4. We are going to go back green, it looks like, with 3 laps to go. Now, this is not the green-white checker. This is just a simple 3 laps to go. So if we have another caution, we will line up for a green-white checker. But right now, it's Dustin German, it's Steve Baker, it's Mitchell Snare, it's Chad Meadows. Green flag, back out. Nearly side by side going into turn 1. Who's going to have the advantage? Right now, it's Dustin German on the bottom. German is going to get out by about a car length. Now, that's going to toe in as here comes Steve Baker. He's all over the back bumper of the 28. Baker looks like he's going to try something different. He's going to go high side. He's going to push Dustin German to the bottom. The momentum for the 55 to the outside. Is it enough? No. He gets into the outside retaining wall with that right front fender, but it's going to be a battle again to the outside. Here comes Steve Baker. Mitchell Snare's going to try to make a run. Baker dives back to the bottom. You see the momentum right there. He's going to have a little bit more momentum going into 3 and 4. Dustin German tries to squish him down. German tries to hold that 55 car to the bottom. Momentum, white flag in the air this time by. Here they go. Drag race to the line. German to the outside. Baker to the bottom. Enough momentum for Baker. Can German get there? No, he cannot. He's going to give up the lead. Steve Baker down the back straightaway for the final time. They're back side by side. Here they come. Little bit of a door bank. German goes up into the outside retaining wall, and Steve Baker out of turn 4 is going to pick up the win here at Dover. Second place, Mitchell Snare. Third place, Dustin German. Man, oh man, what a finish here at Dover. One of the most exciting races we've seen. It came down to that contact in turn 3. They swapped sides. Not sure exactly if the 28 washed up or it was just the momentum that Baker had that kind of shoved that car up the racetrack. But nonetheless, once again, it is Steve Baker going to victory lane in the RFC Throwback Series. A familiar sight for the 5th time this year. The 55's in victory lane, this time at Dover. to Dover as we have seen another exciting RFC Throwback Series race and a familiar face in victory lane. It is Steve Baker picking up the win once again here from Dover as we talk to our top three finishers. What a race, what an event, and what a way to wrap up the Budweiser 100 here from Dover. I think everybody here got their money's worth, that is for sure. But let's go to a guy that I really felt like had a really good race car. Unfortunately, there at the end, things kind of slipped away. Dustin German, man, I felt like this car really come alive in the second half of this race. Just a little bit of contact there in the last turn of the last lap. Unfortunately, going to bring home a third-place finish this week.
Yeah, it's just kind of how our season's gone. No hard feelings towards anybody, man. Good race. Yeah, the car just kind of, everybody, it looks like, their car seemed to flip a switch after about 10 or 15, 20 laps. We just couldn't get that at the end. That's where I felt my strongest at, was on the longer run. But all in all, a good race all around.
Well, we've seen that Steve Baker kind of swapped it up on you a little bit, went to the high side where he'd been trying to get underneath you. Did you kind of anticipate that a little bit too much in that last turn and try to block him on the high side to give him the bottom?
Well, he kind of got under me a little bit. I didn't want to pinch us too much because I knew third place was right there. But I tried all I could there, and going into three, tried to keep it tight. Looks like we made a little bit of contact. That's probably more on me than it is him. Like I said, man, it was awesome racing. I think halfway through, me and Josh and Steve and the 43, we were just battling there.
Man, Dustin, congratulations on another podium finish. Tell us about the folks on that 28.
Just the Haviland 28 cars. Throw back to Davey Allison, one of my favorite racers of all time. But just want to thank American Stroke Association in honor of my grandma, and that's my cause. I want to thank you guys, Turn 3 Racing Network, and you, Cody, for coming out here and doing it, man. You always have an awesome broadcast. I'll thank my team, Smoke Show Racing and RFC, for putting this thing on. And I don't know, it's getting harder to catch Steve, especially with all those wins, man, but we're sure giving it our all.
Man, a great effort, and hopefully we'll see you next week and talk to you again at Pocono.
10-4.
Tough break this week for Dustin German. Man, might have had the car to beat, so to speak, but unfortunately not able to capitalize there on a late race run. We talked to our runner-up. Man, it's getting to be a common thing getting to talk to you. Mitchell Snare this time jumped into that second spot, took advantage of the contact there with German and Baker, but a runner-up spot, got to be pretty tickled with that, especially on a season where you've already got your first career win too.
Yes, sir. I was having some great runs after Bristol. I had a top 5 at Dega. Last week I messed up just a little bit and crashed out, but and then to round this one out with a top 3 is pretty awesome for points.
Well, man, you got to be pleased. You're running out there with a lot of veterans in this series, and through most of the race, I feel like out of the 15 cars on the racetrack, you were most definitely inside of maybe the top 4 of the fastest. There for a while, Steve Baker, yourself, Dustin German, and Joshua Spalding. That was a 4-car race for the lead for the longest time. You got to be excited. You got to be hopeful racing with those guys, especially here late in this series.
For sure, that was it was some crazy racing for sure, but that's the most fun racing you can get. We were getting pretty close there towards the end, and I was catching Steve after they made some contact there, but great race. Sorry to Joshua after that little bit of contact. I think that was my fault, but other than that, it's just a great race. Thank you to my sponsor, Ohio and Indiana Roofing. I'm glad I could get this Lucky Finn Chevrolet into the top 3.
Well, man, keep chomping at the bit. Maybe another win coming up in your near future. Mitchell, congratulations on the second-place finish.
Thank you, sir.
Mitchell Snare, runner-up this week on a season where we've already seen him get his first win. We'll see what the rest of the season has for him. Well, now we go to our victory lane. This guy right here, 5th career win of the series. And, Steve, this one here was a little bit difficult. Dustin German was giving you pretty much everything he had, especially down the stretch, and it took a move there in turn 3 on the very last lap to make it happen. But another victory for this 55 machine.
Yeah, man, that was hard battling all night long there with a lot with Josh and Dustin and a few other guys up there, Mitchell. It was tough to get away in these cars, and the tires wore out after 3 or 4 laps that we were sliding around, so nobody could really get a run. But God, it was probably the most fun race, I'd say, of the season so far.
Yeah, and I made that comment, too, about how exciting. At one point, the top 4 simply battled for about 5 to 10 laps against each other, and then we had a caution come out. On that last lap, we noticed you make a different move. You went to the high side in 1 and 2, kept German to the bottom and tried to take the high side away. I don't know if he anticipated that move a little bit in 3 and 4, but you was able to get underneath him to make the pass. Kind of explain that last lap, the purpose maybe to go to the high side there in 1 and 2.
Yeah, high side actually, I mean, I don't know if it was the quicker way around on the old tires, but it felt like on the older tires you could get there and kind of stay there if you held the line, and the bottom car would not get as much of a run off the corner. And I felt like if I could get there and slow his momentum down just a little bit through the corner, I could, fall back in line on the straightaway and then, possibly have a better corner with a better exit and get the momentum. And seems like it worked out. I don't know if it did. Justin fought back right on the outside, and but yeah, I had to try something else. I knew Dustin was going to have the bottom, so just went for it.
Well, man, coming into the weekend, you had 4 wins. You had a 30-point lead. You will most definitely extend that. German dropping back to 3rd in the finishing order today. Going to help your cause out a lot going to Pocono. You got 3 races left, Pocono, Daytona, Talladega. And that kind of lead in this series is going to be hard for somebody to run you down. So what's the focus on maybe the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, excited for next week. Pocono's one of my favorite tracks, so haven't raced these cars there yet, so I'm sure they'll be fun. And we've had pretty good lady luck on our side on the plate tracks this year so far. I don't know if we've been the fastest car, but we've had the luck when it comes down to the last lap, and I think at those big super speedways that's worth something. So we're gonna go out and try and win 3 more and see what we can do. But it's fun battling those guys every week, and glad the team could run up front a lot tonight.
Well, man, Steve, congratulations. 5 wins in 8 races here in the RFC Throwback Series. And as always, we like to give you the opportunity to tell us about the folks on that race car.
Yeah, Autism Speaks, SRTV Network, and Smoke Show Racing. Appreciate Chris and Rick for putting on the league, and appreciate you, Cody, and Turn 3 for spending the time to come out and do the broadcasts. And yeah, hope everybody has a good evening.
Always a pleasure, man, and congratulations. Steve Baker, another big win here in the RFC Throwback Series. He has been dominant. He has been solid all year. And really right now the championship, I feel like it goes through him as we get ready to wind down the rest of this season. And speaking of winding down the rest of this season, why don't we wind down the rest of this night, taking a look at your results tonight here from Dover. It's Steve Baker going back to victory lane, picking up his 5th win in the 8 races so far this season. Dustin German, he is going to, well, let's see. Thought we was going to results. If we can't take another look at those results. Maybe not. All right. Well, I'll tell you the results of tonight's race. It is Steve Baker picking up the win. Mitchell Snares 2nd. Dustin German 3rd. Chad Meadows 4th. Good run for Darrell Ricketts. 5th place tonight. Joshua Spalding 6th after a good solid start to the evening. 7th was Justin Walters. 8th place went to Damon Cox. Brian Mescal Jr. in the 9th spot. Rounding out the top 10, it was Stephen Page in that number 1 machine. Eric Blunt in 11th. It was Gary Ragland in 12th. Taking a look back to 13th, Michael Willis. 14th, Jeffrey Clifton, and David Worrells rounding out the field in the 15th spot. But that is going to do it for me. Until next time. That's right, Tricky Triangle. Next week as the RFC Throwback Series heads to Pocono. Until then, y'all have a great rest of the night. And we'll catch you next time here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.